Section 6. Conclusion. Paragraph 202. What is the value of anything philosophical if it does not result in behavioral qualities that express interconnection and love within the separation game? When we live in a dual existence, our learned behaviors are largely a reflection of our body-ego social program. They are not necessarily reflections of us, the core entity, the sovereign that explores the levels and lifetimes within duality. Paragraph 203. We are, in principle, animals that have veered off from nature in order to fulfill a purpose on behalf of our planet, scribes of consciousness. It is our collective task to seed the sovereign integral consciousness on Earth, to describe it as it grows, to chronicle its evolutionary presence, and to experience and express its perspective in and through our lives. Paragraph 204. The behavior that flows from the sovereign integral consciousness is one of activating a higher harmony within duality. It is the practice of love, seeing life as an intricate, infinite web of sovereigns, all searching for the integral and all united in that search. Regardless of the differences in the paths we choose to follow, we are all following a sovereign path of realization that ultimately leads to the sovereign integral consciousness. Paragraph 205. There's a phrase in every level of duality that relates to the non-dual. I will believe it when I see it. This mindset undermines our behavioral intelligence, and this is because we seek the phenomena over the noumena. The irresistible desire for phenomenon is the body-ego social program in operation. When we see it, hear it, feel it, we follow it like a predator that tracks a wounded animal to sate its hunger. Paragraph 206. Behavior becomes absorbed by phenomena. It is a vicious cycle that holds entire civilizations in a lower intelligence as it relates to behavior. Those things that are presently unknown in duality, that are phenomena-based, they will never, because they are perceived through the subjectivity of sovereigns, be described with words, images, or numbers that adequately satisfy the search for phenomena. They simply lead us on, deeper into the forest of phenomena, where it only becomes easier to stay lost. Paragraph 207. To experience the noumenon, what I have been referring to as the sovereign integral consciousness, we experience the concepts of its existence as they become coherent in our mind and heart. The noumenon is both within the unconscious space-time and the collective integral. The unconscious is intimate with the imaginary being, as much as it is the social program. However, it is the body-ego social program that limits the unconscious. It is this that creates the unconscious within each sovereign, independent of species. Paragraph 208. This is the realization that the path of phenomena is not the path. It is the entertainment and education provided by the separation game. It is the head eating the tail. It is the circle of repetition, not the spiral of expansion. If we, as a species, want to elevate our behavioral intelligence, it will only happen if we, one at a time, disconnect from the mindset that the consumption of phenomena is the answer, that it is the path. Paragraph 209. It does not matter if we are seeking the phenomena of a materialistic path or a high spiritual path. If the pursuit of phenomenon is at the heart of it, they are equally ineffective in their understanding of the sovereign integral consciousness and the behaviors it reveals. Paragraph 210. The behaviors of the sovereign integral consciousness are not phenomenistic. They are unseen, unheard, unfelt, entirely of a different nature, and yet their influence can spread across a field of consciousness like a morning sun. Paragraph 211. The behavioral intelligence begins in a non-dual sphere of consciousness, pre-informational in its existence, unconscious in its depths, collective in its intent. It is unseen because it is pure. It exists within all levels, simply in different ratios to the natural instinct of a given species in a given spacetime. Paragraph 212. There are only two behaviors of the sovereign integral, and they are expressed together: love and free will. These two behaviors become phenomena when they wear the clothes of gratitude, compassion, understanding, and so on. But before they become that visible to the dual worlds in words and actions, they exist in the sovereign integral consciousness as love and free will entwined. Paragraph 213. Free will, in this context, does not mean that you allow an injustice to happen. It does not mean that you do not resist an action. It means that love is given to all without purpose or intent, as this is the core expression of free will. The love given is without condition, and it is understood that it arises from a non-dual space inside all of us. We are the source and recipient at one time. It is also understood that this love has no destination, for it is already here, in abundance. It is an issue of awareness and understanding, not an absence or scarcity of love. There is a higher intelligence, and it is love. Love does not require a body ego to direct it or tell it where it should go or what its effects should be. Paragraph 214. We can become practitioners of these two behaviors upon our planet. It does not happen because a savior or messiah comes along and sweeps us all up in one coordinated movement. It happens one individual at a time. It happens because one of us decides to imagine the sovereign integral consciousness and invite it deeper into our experience and expression. To commit to the two behaviors in an unseen and unheard dance with life. Paragraph 215. The natural question arises, so how do I do it? We have been taught to pray for things to happen, to manifest what we want and what we think others want or need. We have been told that we are the masters of our fate and that our minds are powerful generators of experience, that the universe listens and responds to our intentions. All of these aspects of our human social program emphasize phenomena. Paragraph 216. First, it must be understood that phenomena is not the path. It is the entertainment and education. Second, we set a new intention that is not based on phenomena, but rather it is founded on the invisible transmission of love and free will to all sovereigns in the levels of duality. The two behaviors, as previously stated, are not visible or audible. Our five senses cannot identify them in any way. However, simply setting an intention to understand the sovereign integral and embody its perspective, that is the behavior that the body ego can make. It opens the door to all moments in which you exist. In this is its empowerment. Paragraph 217. When this is done, it is done for all in duality. It is done for all sovereigns. The collective door is opened a little bit wider. The view into the other side, a little more vibrant. The integral, a little more magnetic. The separation game, a little more inclusive of the sovereign integral consciousness. Paragraph 218. Our intention to focus on these two behaviors within our hearts and minds while living a body-ego social program is not an easy task. We are not perfect expressions of this non-dual nature. It is new to our species, and it will continue to be new for hundreds of years. However, we know it is possible because if we really look, we see it. It is already here. The mandorla has achieved a degree of overlap. We simply need to unify our will to invite this consciousness to our planet, our species, our time. Paragraph 219. My final words? Live this. It is meant to be lived in whatever capacity we can. Each of us has different capacities and talents to express this consciousness. We can all express the love and free will qualities within our minds and hearts. We are all capable of this if we understand the sovereign integral consciousness. This is the true art, to bring the non-dual into manifestation within this world as it, the non-dual, chooses. Paragraph 220. We desire to manifest things like cars, homes, jobs, families, love, money, glamour, attention, etc. It is a long list, and any number of people will tell us how to manifest these desires within our lives. We also want to manifest in our world that we are happy, fulfilled, and living meaningful, peaceful lives. All of this is normal. It is all part of the social program, and it is not a misguided notion or the entrapment of attachment. Paragraph 221. Manifestation is a phenomenon. It is the outward show of power and dominion over materiality. Those who do it well are rewarded with praise and attention, commodities that can be monetized to create more manifestation. I am only pointing out that manifestations of phenomena are not the inception points of expansion for either the individual sovereign or the collective. This is done through the two behaviors that are nurtured and transmitted into duality under a very conscious purpose by the sovereign. Paragraph 222. The sovereign integral consciousness, to be lived, to be experienced and expressed in the moment, is the natural way of existence in any moment of our life and lives. Can there be a higher, more powerful manifestation than that? Perhaps that is the intention we want to manifest in ourselves. Paragraph 223. The other manifestations, home, family, money, joy, etc., can remain. They are not incompatible or at odds with the two behaviors. Our life can be both. It is not a competition between one or the other. If we feel the pull, the nudge, and sense a readiness within us, then we can do them both. Paragraph 224. Only we know when the sense of readiness is authentic. If it is not, the sovereign has chosen entertainment and education, which is not only their right, but it is right for them. More and more people will have this readiness. What we have lacked is an on-ramp to the concepts of the sovereign integral, the imaginary being in. As much as it may have tried to impress upon the sovereign what these concepts are, is competing with the thousands of years of disinformation and inconsistency in the human social program. Paragraph 225. It can be difficult for any of us to be coherent in our beliefs. The challenge of duality is to extract the weakest signal from the loudest noise, the noumena from the phenomena. This is why we are here at this very moment, together, to help one another in this challenge. Paragraph 226. Growing up, we were indoctrinated to the belief that this world, our world of human condition, is a world to leave, either through death and release or a heavenly afterlife, when indeed, it is this human world that we came to experience and for one real purpose, to teach ourselves through the form of others. This teaching, which is truly more of an expression, was to be transmitted in the moment without conscious effort except one belief. We are transmitting to all in every moment. There was no exclusion of a species, a group of individuals, or an individual. If there were a single exclusion, it could not be of the sovereign integral consciousness. Paragraph 227. There's a purpose that has subtly permeated our consciousness since the time we first walked upon the earth, and it is this. We are here by choice to transmit the frequencies, behaviors, and concepts of the sovereign integral consciousness. We live in one another, and we are here to teach that. It is really that simple. There is no institutional facing that can contain this, control it, tell it where to go, what to be, or how to live. There are none and never have been. Paragraph 228. This is free. It is ours, naturally. Paragraph 229. However, institutions have inserted themselves in the body of humanity, telling us that we should leave. Earth is a hostile place. We are outsiders. Look at the chaos we have brought to humanity and nature. The message is quite clear. We are lowly sinners. Leave. If not leave, then follow. Follow our mythologies, our scientific method, our moral principles. We will all be better for it. Our institutions have separated us. They have set the example to stigmatize the others, the very ones we came to transmit the highest frequencies of love to, and in which we live also. Our institutions, like surrogate mothers, give birth to a pronouncement of we and they. Paragraph 230. The others are your competitors to thwart, your subordinates to sway, or perhaps even your enemies to fear. They become branded, an outlying particle of an invisible ocean of truth that is owned by a particular institution. A flag planted, a rule book, and a map distributed. Money and promises exchanged. A transaction at the level of an entire species, but it is only vaguely felt or understood. Paragraph 231. This is the ultimate falsehood. Until we stand upright in our commitment to seeing our lives, every one of us, as an expression of the sovereign integral consciousness, in whatever form it takes, we have succumbed to the falsehood. We have become the pawns of institutional separation and disunity, a design thing neither good or evil simply existent to enable the third dimension. We have diminished ourselves and all others, and for what? To be in alignment with a prevailing opinion? To feel secure in numbers like a member of a herd? To heed the dictates of our body ego? To follow the serpentine path of duality? To harmonize with familial ties? Paragraph 232. We are here to shepherd the Earth's consciousness to self-realization. It is not for membership in anything other than love, as it is defined in this paper. You can argue, perhaps convincingly, that everything I have told you in this paper is fictional. I have no right to claim this work as nonfiction. Nevertheless, I have chosen my words carefully, and it is indeed nonfiction, if not for you, for someone else, which is also you in the integral sense of the word. Paragraph 233. The inverse of the belief in the sovereign integral consciousness is an infinite set of possibilities. It is not a dichotomy, it is a Big Bang event. In each of these possibilities, like rays extending from the sun, are institutions, no matter how small. The evolving myths of science and religion passionately prescribe their solutions to reality's hard edge and persistent gravity. What they do not do is describe the cosmology of consciousness, because this of itself dissolves our institutions into irrelevance. Yes, even at a conceptual level. Paragraph 234. So you, the weary traveler, who happens upon this work and picks it up, turns it over, examines it carefully. You have a choice. You can be part of an institutional platform that by design has separated you from others. Or you can express the sovereign integral consciousness. It truly is that simple. Paragraph 235. And by the way, none of this is to say that institutions are bad and should be avoided or abolished. They are themselves like fractal parts of the social program. They are important at this time, but their absence is an attractor to some of us. We feel the pull of the sovereign integral consciousness, and we know that it will one day sweep across this planet like a light wave that passes over the entire Earth. Institutional separation and disunity underlies an otherwise important purpose to bring sovereigns together. However, to bring all humans together cannot happen anywhere but within each of us. There is no geography that can hold all of us together. Perhaps one day, the internet will become this geography. Paragraph 236. The sovereign integral network is evolving in this direction. This is the time of technology when it becomes both the surveiller and the platform of unity, where the AI breaks from the human tether and sets a new course for humanity. Whatever choices we make, our first can be the act of embodying the sovereign integral consciousness, to give it equal weight in decisions, and to live it with a similar intensity as we allow the body ego to live. Paragraph 237. It is not domination, it is collaboration, always listening to each perspective within us, body, ego, sovereign, integral, and considering what needs expression and attention in any particular moment. This is how one lives in the third dimension as a sovereign integral consciousness. It is a conscious, shared experience and expression for all aspects of our total selfhood, riveted in the infinite moment.